Hello, day 5 at Porto Cervo, having a look at the maxis behind me here, and it's about 5 or 10 degrees of heel and they're not going to sail up at all. Last time we looked it was blowing well over 40 knots a few minutes ago. Unsurprisingly, at 1:45 there's an AP over Alpha. It's another day of abandoned racing, sadly, care of the Mistral. Pretty sad really, one day of racing so far, but hopefully at least we get 2 days of racing in total. Pretty frustrating for a lot of these guys. They've come a long way, bought all their boats, their crew, accommodation and everything else. Pretty hard to take, but hey, what can you do? It's the weather. Give you some idea of how large the sailing vessels are that this dock can take. We're looking over at the other side of the bay, at the village there, and Scallywag is wedged between two very, very large yachts, which gives you some perspective on why this is considered a very suitable space for Maxi yachts. We're standing in front of Leopard 3 as some of these really heavy-duty gusts come through, and I would say quite a number of these in the last few minutes have been well north of 40 knots. It poses a huge challenge for these guys, even in 15 to 20 knots, just getting in and out of this harbour, especially in these westerlies, which the Mistral produces. And it's been fascinating to watch the marineros, who are the local guys, responsible for helping these guys dock, because you can imagine if you're looking at Leopard here, I think she's got 8 separate lines on her to hold her in place. She's on the downwind side of the dock, the other guys are on the other side, they're getting all the heeling motion, but there's a massive amount of tension on these, so they'll have spring mechanisms on the ends of the lines to the stern just to stop the jolting. And you'll see that they've got massive white buoys just towards the entrance to the harbour. And each of these boats is moored to those. 2 lines on that, I think, from Leopard 1 to the next buoy over on the left, and 5 lines on the stern, and then huge fenders. Unsurprisingly, especially in these really high winds, they'll tend to have at least a couple of people on board just to make sure their boat's properly secure through the day and the night. If something starts going wrong here, it can cause chaos extremely quickly. The marineros, the guys who are running around in ribs, are incredibly accomplished. We've been having fun watching them ripping around the harbour here. No 4-knot speed limit for these guys. They're a bit like the surf lifeboat ribs. They stand up in there. They've got a mechanism on their shaft. They can switch the engine on and off, and they virtually surf these boats around the place. But the thing they've got to be really good at is just understanding how quickly they've got to get these boats secured. So they're literally nudging the boats where they can, obviously not in these sorts of breezes, getting the lines out on and off the boat. The speed with which all that happens is amazing. So even in sort of 15, 20 knots, once the skippers and the boat captain and everything is ready to go, the call is made, and then the action is really super quick to get these boats out and clear of each other. They do a huge amount of damage. So that's one interesting side of this place, where the local marine folk have adapted very well to that to make sure these boats are kept safe. One aspect of these conditions you simply cannot convey with a microphone other than a lot of noise. It's actually just the sound that you get in a marina. Many of you will know what that's like when it's blowing 30 plus knots, but there's this underlying roar going on at the moment, and obviously the inevitable frapping of rigging, but occasionally a whistle on top of it. It certainly reminds you about what conditions must be like offshore. Well, it's sad to be losing day 5 to racing, but one piece of possible prospect for us is that the breeze, which was looking very light for tomorrow, 2s to 5s variables, is now accelerating. So with any luck, we might even get racing in 15 to 20 knots. Fingers very firmly crossed, because this Mistral has kept us guessing all week, right up to the very end.